Hello there, and welcome back to Nuskas with Anushka, where every story matters and every connection counts. Today, we have a guest whose mission is bigger than just personal success. It's about transforming an entire nation. Popularly known as the Booklet Guy, he is on a mission to make India read. He is not just a reader, he's a reading revolution. With a staggering 900 words per minute reading speed, one book a day, and a 1887 books devoured so far, he's inspiring 75 lakh plus young readers through his free booklet app. But his journey wasn't all about books always. From failing three startups to a near fatal low point to being banned by WhatsApp and even transitioning from a professional gambler to a social entrepreneur, his story is nothing short of extraordinary. How did a book save his life? What's his secret to reading faster? And why does he believe that India will be a nation of readers? One day, perhaps. But we don't know the answers yet. So let's hear it all from the man himself, welcoming Mr. Amrut Deshmukh. Welcome, sir, on Nuskas with Anushka.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anushka, for having me. What an exciting introduction you gave. I'm very excited. I hope I live up to your expectations.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, I mean, let's start from the beginning. Like, we heard about your failed startups and the dark moment in your life. Uh, I know it was a failed suicide attempt, and it gives me goosebumps even to say it out loud. What helped you, or how did things turn for you?
Yeah, as you rightly said in my introduction, I had three failed startups in a row, and because of that one failed relationship, so I jokingly say to my friends that three failed startups on LinkedIn and one failed relationship on my Facebook profile. And things became so bad that one day I decided I'll not see the next day's rising sun. So I was sitting in my house on the in the living room, and I got up from the sofa. I walked three steps, one, two, three, और घर के लाइट चले गए.
Okay.
So what to do? This never happens in Mumbai. Okay, in a city like Mumbai. So I walked back three steps, and I remembered the words of my elder brother. My brother always used to say that, Amrut, whenever you are stuck up with the question, what next? Read random. So I said, okay, chalo, let me read the last book of my life. So there was a book sitting on the right side of my sofa. I picked it up because it was dark, lights nahi the. So I switched on the flashlight of my mobile and started reading. Random book, random page. I did not even bother to check the cover. And Krishna and Balram are going through a forest. It was getting dark. So Krishna says that I'll go to sleep. You keep a guard on us because it's a risky area. Anything can happen. And once you get tired, we can switch the roles. So Balram बोलता है ठीक है. And you know Balram is the elder brother of Krishna.
Yeah.
So Krishna goes to sleep. Balram is walking. A monster comes and yells at Balram. Balram gets scared, and that gives confidence to the monster, and monster grows bigger in size, and Balram shrinks in size. So this happens again and again to a point where Balram is so scared he screams Krishna and faints down on the ground. Krishna mistook that my elder brother has called my name. He didn't know what has happened because he was sleeping. So he wakes up, flashes some water on his face to wake himself, and starts doing the patrolling, his duty. The same monster looks at the new face and he knows that yelling works. So he yells at the new face, that is Krishna. But this time Krishna says without any fear at his huge giant, what do you want? Without fearlessly. And that gives a big setback to the monster. And this time something different happens. The monster shrinks in size and Krishna grows bigger. So monster gets confused and he tries with many futile attempts and he shrinks to a tiny nut size. and Krishna casually picks him up, ties a knot to his dhoti, and goes to sleep. The next morning, both the brothers resume the journey, and Balram obviously recollects the nightmare and says that, what happened last night? A huge monster had almost killed me. And Krishna says, yeah, but this monster was going to kill you, this ant size? And Balram says, yes, but how come he's so small? He was used last night. And the epic message, the stories from Gita Mahabharata. Vedvyas, the writer, wanted to say that face what you must face. The monster was just a metaphor of the problems and challenges of your life. Yeah. And I was trying to escape. So if you try to avoid or escape from the problem, that problem will become bigger than you, like it happened in case of Balram. But if you
Right.
face what you must face, you become bigger than the problem and you gain control over it. And these beautiful lines flash like Akashvani in that dark, room, and that bad, ugly thought of killing myself never came back in my mind. I decided to face the monster within me, the failed entrepreneur within me. So, a book actually saved my life. Thanks to a book that saved my life, and also thanks to Maharashtra Electricity Board.
Absolutely. I think that was a beautiful story that you narrated, and this is rare. I mean, a book saving your life at a, I mean, just it's such a turning point where you've read just a page, a random page, and I think that's the way I think God had bigger plans for you
Yeah,
by
truly a
sending
divine
something.
intervention. Yeah, and
Yes.
maybe many of my friends that you just made it up. Okay,
Mm.
now every word of this is true. Maybe maybe it was not a book. I didn't want to die. I just wanted some stupid reason. For me, it happened to be a book. It could be a knock on the door. It could be a song from Lagan. It could be a movie like Three Idiots. Right. For me, it happened to be a book.
Yeah. I think what you said is just like a totally Bollywood movie scene where, you you needed that some intervention and has I mean surprisingly this book came uh, as a perfect timing into your life. So now we know that how a book saved you. So we have an answer to this question. But like what's your secret of reading faster? I mean, and like why do you believe that India one day will become a nation of readers? What is your thought about that?
Oh, see, the I truly believe that if I'm not reading, I'm not changing. And if I'm not changing, I am not growing.
Right.
And because of this strong belief, I have a burning desire to, to cultivate the habit of reading amongst the youth of India. So,
Mm-hmm.
this has become the purpose of my life, the why of my life, the Ikigai of my life.
Right.
And I will not leave any stone unturned. And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
live this purpose till the last breath and make sure that I make all my fellow Indians fall in love with books because that will be a tangible proof of me achieving my why. Yeah.
So is it because this mission, Malab, is it because of the purpose, the book that you found at like such a weird time of your life, or is it that you had something like this already in your mind from before?
Oh yeah, that's a very valid question. So after that incident, and when I changed my mind, and again thanks to my elder brother, read random. So he focused on
Yeah.
both the words. He didn't just say read. Had he
Hmm.
not said the word random,
Random.
the book. What was the name of the book that saved my life? It was Gita for Children. Now, as
Oh,
an adult, I would have said, "अरे यार, बच्चों की किताब क्या पढ़नी है?" But
right.
because he emphasized, no, don't bother about the book. Just read randomly, and So I thought, okay, chalo, a book has given me a bonus life. Let me read as many books as I can randomly, and I finished off all the half-read books in my house. Borrowed more books from my friends, neighbors. So although I was reading random, most of the friends had a typical collection of books. Most of them had biographies and autobiographies of great world leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekanand. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Dr. Kalam. And I found the answer why I failed in my three previous startups.
Okay.
It was the question that I always asked myself whenever I was about to start a new venture. And the question was, what's in it for me?
Hmm.
My money, my progress, my wealth, my bank balance, my profits, my goals, my dreams, my happiness. It was all selfish, me. And all the great leaders, to name it, who have become part of the eternal history. Gandhiji, for example, said in one of his books called Hind Swaraj, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others, which is exactly opposite to what I was thinking. And then there was a book called Servant Leadership, and I just ridiculed the name of the book. How can it sounded like an oxymoron? Servant and leader दोनों कैसे एक साथ हो सकता है? Right?
Right.
But then I realized that no, it's my growth is hidden in helping others to grow. It took me
Hmm.
like 6 to 8 months to digest this and accept it, that enough
Right.
enough for focusing on myself, on my growth. uh, I might as well try it out. पैसा
Hmm.
कमा के देख लिया क्या हुआ. I was going to kill myself. Let me try something different. And then the word mission came. Swami Vivekananda was on a mission. Yeah, this time it's not a selfish business, but a mission to make India lead.
Awesome. So, in all of this thing that we've heard from you, why has, like, I'm still curious, why has WhatsApp banned you? And, like, why, what happened exactly with that part of the story?
So when I decided to read random, after a few days, I got a call from a CA friend who was observing me depressed, yeah, with a broken heart, and locking myself inside the room for weeks and months, not socializing with friends on weekends.
Hmm.
And he was really worried about my state of mind. Just to cheer me up, he said, "अमृत, एक पिक्चर आई है बाहुबली. Let's go and watch it. तेरा मन हल्का हो जाएगा." And I
Okay.
refuted, "Are you nuts? Three failed startups, one failed relationship, and you're talking about movies? Get lost. I'm not coming." And he took a long pause and said that, "Amrut, don't worry, I'll buy the tickets for you." And I said, "Okay, I'm coming in 5 minutes." So once a CA, always a CA.
Yeah.
So we reached the movie theater 15 minutes before the showtime. Perhaps we overestimated the traffic jams of Mumbai, and we were not interested in shopping. So just to kill those 15 minutes, I happened to narrate him a book that I was reading that week, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen
Hmm.
Covey, a very world famous bestseller in non-fiction self-help genre. And
Yes.
tuck 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 मैंने 15 मिनट में I just narrated in those seven habits in my own desi broken vocabulary. I did not
Hmm.
bother about the language of the author. Whatever I
Yeah.
understood, by paraphrasing it in my own personal vocabulary. He was
Okay.
so impressed. He said, "Amrut, the way you explained those seven habits, I felt I read the book. I got the main message. Can you please
Hmm.
help me? Because I have the guilt of not reading regularly. And you seem to be reading a lot. I know because of your elder brother, there is a reading culture in your family. And how do you remember all those seven habits?" I said, "I have a habit of taking notes." Okay.
Hmm.
And he knew that I had a very bad handwriting. So what he suggested is, see, I know I'm giving excuses that I don't get time, but that's not the real reason. But I really think you can help me in improving my reading habit. I said, how? And he said that next time, whatever notes you take, just write it in some legible handwriting so that I can understand. And take a picture of it and send it to me on WhatsApp. Because the way you narrated right now, a summary of the book, it helped me a lot.
Right.
And one line which happened to be the second Akashvani of my life, he said that your reading habit can benefit me. And this just blew my mind. That stupid conversation in the Bahubali theater. Never in my wildest dream ever did I thought to think that it will take a national movement one day, and lakhs of people will be part of it. And so I left the movie in the interval. I lied to my friend that I want to go to the washroom. I his उसकी बाइक की चाबी मेरे जेब में थी. So I,
Huh.
I escaped taking his bike because I wanted to execute this idea within 1 week. before the excitement fades away. And so the first summary I shared was Dr. Kalam's Wings of Fire, and
Okay.
to about 10 of my friends on WhatsApp, because I'm a CA, a non-IT guy who doesn't know how to develop an app or a website. So WhatsApp was the easiest medium.
Usually.
And 10 लोगों को मैंने शेयर किया. Within 1 week, to my surprise, I got 1,000 requests from unknown people and said that it's a great idea. We would like to read your summaries regularly. And since then, every Wednesday, this incident happened in 2015. 2015 से लेके आज 2025, count all the Wednesdays, and every Wednesday a new summary has gone. And then within few months there were like 10 lakh people on my WhatsApp, and so WhatsApp thought that I'm doing some cheap marketing or spamming, so they sent me a message on WhatsApp, the WhatsApp company, that you are banned from using WhatsApp.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's how I was banned.
Oh wow, that was a crazy story, and I think you were banned for the good reasons. So no judgment at all. Yeah. We've also heard in your introduction that you were a professional gambler. So what is like I again the curiosity is just building up, building up, building up. So please walk us through like the whats and the whys and how did it all happen?
See, when the why of your life is not clear now, you take any random decision. I mean, Gita, a beautiful
Hmm.
quote in Gita that a, a person who is not committed to one thing is distracted by everything.
Okay.
So I really don't know why I did my CA. I just did it, and then indirectly in a city like Mumbai, you are taught that there is nothing more important than money in life. So I assumed
Hmm.
that I just have to focus on money, and so I read almost 55 books on gambling, and I had a very professional approach. Okay, yeah, I tried casinos, I tried race course, all types of gambling in the world, and then I
Okay.
realized stock market is the best gamble. Okay, because there are only two directions, up and down, so the probability of winning is 0.5. Right?
Yeah.
But in the race course there are 10 horses, there are 52 cards in a deck. So so this is how I landed in stock market, and honestly, stock market is just white collar gambling. Educated people gamble there. Okay, long term investing makes a lot of sense, but this short term trading and intraday and derivatives and futures and options is pure satta, to be
Hmm.
very blunt. And I had
Hmm.
actually become a gambler, surrounded with you know, ruthless gamblers around me, and people like Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya. They had become my friends and clients.
Okay.
Now they are absconded. I'm not, fortunately, because they are no more my friends. So
Hmm.
yeah, this is how I spent almost 10 years in stock market. I worked as a fund manager where people's crores of rupees was with me, and I was supposed to deploy that money in stock market, and honestly made a lot of money in stock market.
Hmm. So are you still pursuing it or no? Not anymore.
I use that knowledge. I mean, I've quit my stock market journey because I found a very exciting why of my life. Now,
Right.
इसके सामने, I mean, the kind of satisfaction I get every night when I go to bed, that satisfaction I never got during my stock market days. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a social enterprise. Booklet Make India is a social enterprise. So I
Yeah.
have a very completely 180-degree turn from a stock market which has nothing to do with social angle, and now
Yeah.
completely into as a social entrepreneur.
But like एक वो एक dopamine hit होता है ना when you are into stock market. It's like seeing Big Bull and movies like that. We know what kind of rigorous like attention is to have has to be given during the stock market when you are into stock market. So do you feel that the same kind of rush and the same kind of adrenaline you get in even in this particular social enterprise that you've started?
Oh, you raised a very good question. Uh, See, dopamine is short-lived. What we need is oxytocin. A
Right.
long-lasting happiness, not
Hmm.
short-term pleasure. There's a difference between pleasure and happiness,
Hmm.
right? And the biggest
Yeah.
source of happiness is satisfaction. Okay, as I said, every night when I go to bed, I get a feeling of sense of contribution,
Hmm.
a sense of meaningfulness. That yes, when I get a call from a young girl at 11 o'clock at night, and I have an habit of going to bed at before 10 p.m. and I was already
Okay.
frustrated, and there goes a very sweet young voice of a girl saying that Amrut, I love your voice, the way you say bye bye at the end of the summary. So I do audio summaries as well in the
Uh-huh.
Booklet app, and I desperately wait for every Wednesday to listen to you. And I was already irritated, so I just had to pull her leg and said that why do you always listen? Booklet app में text भी है ना? Sometimes you can read, sometimes you can listen. You know what she said, Anushka? She said, Amrita, I'm blind.
Oh,
I can't read because I can't see. And that gave goosebumps
yeah.
all over my body. अभी भी आ रहा है. You know, that night I went to bed as the most satisfied person. I lost my mother when I was quite young, and she
Okay.
had donated her eyes, of course, after her death. I
Hmm.
think I'm luckier than my mother that somebody can read books through my eyes while I'm alive. What else can I
Wow.
expect from life, right? No,
Wow.
that night I understood what Gandhiji really meant. The best way to find yourself is to
True.
lose yourself in the service of others. This you'll never get in the stock market.
Totally. And I think this is such a purpose where when you know you are helping so many people out there and you don't know ना किसके लिए वो चीज एक purpose fulfill कर रही है. You are giving it out and people are listening, but somewhere it is affecting someone's life. And it is such a beautiful message that you've given today and this particular anecdote. And even I definitely did have goosebumps when I was listening to this particular story. But like, let's talk about your app for some time. And I mean, you have 75 lakh readers on your, and it's a free app, I suppose. But like, what makes it so engaging is what I want to know. Why are so many people like indulged into reading on this particular app?
I would like to give two answers to the same question. Uh, so there must be some more than 35 reading apps, at least in
Yeah,
India.
yeah.
Worldwide, Blinkist, वगैरह, I mean, there must be 100 reading apps in the world.
Hmm.
And none of them have more than a few thousand downloads. And I was wondering, and some have really better quality summaries than me. Let me
Okay.
admit that. Better designs, better UI UX than my app. And I was wondering, so because now I'm the leader of this category called reading habit, many app owners have become my friends, and they admire my work. And I realized that they are themselves not passionate readers. For
Okay.
them, it's just a bunch of codes to monetize. And that's it. In fact, they must have delegated the job of summarizing a book, which I would have never do that. Because
Hmm.
तो मतलब आ बैल मुझे मार जैसे that asking Anushka to exercise on my behalf to lose my weight.
Yeah.
That's
True.
मेरा ही loss है. So I will never
Yeah.
delegate my job of summarizing because it's a perfect win-win. So I think the journey is inward. You know,
Hmm.
I decided that be the change you wish to see in others. I honestly don't work on booklet or to make India read. I work on myself. I decided that I will be one of those rare readers who can read at an amazing speed and who has read so many books. And through my actions, people like you will get inspired, not through my words.
Right. Right. Yeah, even like I also can admit very openly that I'm not such an avid reader or not into the habit of reading so much. It's like there is so many other things to read, and all of us are definitely on Instagram, and we have so much content on Instagram, other social media platforms, LinkedIn. So, I mean, again, like this brings me to the question that is any type of reading classified into reading? Like, even, when someone is reading a book on like Kindle, like, or like free apps that, like Booklet, or any online reading, listening to audiobooks, can we still categorize it as that I am reading per se?
See, reading is not an end. Reading is a means to an end. Reading is a
Okay.
tool to learn something, to gain knowledge.
Hmm.
So, reading itself is not an end. Okay. Now, uh, what we need is we need to spend enough amount of time. to a new piece with a new piece of knowledge, which never happens on reels and on those short videos. Okay. See, repetition is a friend of memory. When you read a book of, say, 200, 300 pages, now this is a book written by Abdul Kalam, Turning Points, I'll be spending enough amount of time with this great man.
Yeah.
Right. But unfortunately, what we do is, we look at this big, thick, fat book of 200 pages. Oh my God. Okay. And we just throw it away. But if I tear one page out of it and give it to you, you will read. And another page and you will read. That's what
Yeah.
happens on Reels, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let us look at a book as one page at a time and do not feel overwhelmed by the remaining number of pages. We are more bothered about the remaining number of pages. And that's why we get hooked to Reels. Because the remaining Reels are out of our vision, we don't feel overwhelmed, right? But the problem
Right.
is, when I'm watching an existing video, at the back of the mind, there is a thought coming that the next video could be a better one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and because it is in unlimited supply and for free, we don't know where to stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Nowadays, I mean, it's so easy to be successful because people are so distracted with this shallow reading or watching on Instagrams and YouTubes. Deep reading on or any kind of deep work is the superpower of the 21st century. No, to put it in other words, to be able to focus on this and ignoring that is the superpower of the 21st century. Yeah. Bruce Lee has wonderfully said in his biography, the name of the book was Be Water, My Friend. And what he said was, and it's applicable to our reading as well, that's why I'm quoting it. I do not fear the one who has practiced 1,000 different kicks, but I fear the one who has practiced one kick 10,000 times.
10,000 times. Yes.
This is what the importance of deep work, which will never happen on the internet, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Kindle, yes, just the medium is changing, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Kindle, you can carry like 400 books in your bag. Not less than a miracle. I can't carry more than 4 physical books in my bag.
Right.
It's about distraction free reading. So, increasing your concentration doesn't mean uh, working on your focus, but keeping away from those attractive distractions.
Right.
So the most important word for me, for all of us, is ignore. Today morning, I will decide what I'm supposed to ignore today.
Right.
And what I'm not supposed to ignore will become my to-do list.
But I like seriously, it is very difficult to stay not distracted, and kind of read. So even when there are great pieces on LinkedIn as well. People are really writing amazing content on LinkedIn. But again, that notification that pops on your phone, that is the distraction, where that also will stop you from reading that particular probably engaging content what you felt like just a second prior to that notification on your phone. So I think what you said is very true. Distraction is something that we all need to kind of, ignore and take it out from our lives when we are reading anything and everything. But like I've seen you also on Instagram, and I've seen you making a lot of content regarding reading books and stuff. And there are some other creators also who put some certain summaries of books that they've read in like short form content. But again, like, doesn't this contradict the purpose of having more screen time? And again, distraction. Like ultimately, like you said, your mission is like spreading or making India read a distraction-free reading. So how does this? I mean, what's your take on this?
Well, yeah, I think I'm living a very ironical life where anyway I'm going to die as a failure. The fact that Booklet app is a hit, that means I have failed, right? That people still need summaries because that means they are not interested in reading books. And the day
Absolutely.
everybody starts reading books, they don't need me anymore. So
Yeah.
either way, I'm going to fail at the end of my life. Having said that, uh, I think social media is a tool in it. And again, we can't blame social media per se. It's like a knife. Give it to a thief and give it to a surgeon. Completely different, right? Now, one
Yeah,
uses it to save life, one uses it to take life. Same
yeah,
goes with social media. Not a single post of mine you will see without a book in my hand, or I'm talking something else other than books. It's completely the clear purpose,
hmm.
very clear purpose. Yeah, yeah. As long as my distraction is concerned, I do not have Instagram in my phone. I do not have YouTube in my phone. I do not have any Facebook, Swiggy, Netflix. I do not have in my phone. Yeah. So if I want to check, I'll go on my laptop and open my Instagram.
Okay.
Now, when I close the laptop doesn't go in my pocket when I step out of the house.
Hmm.
That makes a lot of difference, right? So this is how I keep myself away from the distractions. So this, in
Right,
a way, I am on in social media, I am not, right?
right. I get it, but again, like I still am unclear about the part where when your mission is for others to read books. So how is like putting Instagram reels or about the books that you've read or anything that's related to books helping you serve your mission?
Hmm. See, my competition is not with books or other reading apps. My
Okay,
competition is with those unproductive time. I think the amount of unproductive time has increased in our generations,
true.
right? The music has become the new smoking. I'm not saying music is bad, but too much
Yeah.
of music is unhealthy, right?
Hmm.
And pornography and too much of stand-up comedy and too much of entertainment. Even I love Kapil Sharma, right? But I watch him only on a Saturday evening. That's all, right?
Hmm.
And when I'm watching Kapil Sharma on Saturday evening at 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., then working on Excel sheet becomes a distraction for me. You get my point? Distraction is a relative term. But when I'm reading a book and playing some music on YouTube in the background, that is a distraction.
Right.
So I think I'm waging a war against these unproductive apps where they
Hmm.
have found the humans' weaknesses. Like we are amazingly new information seekers. They know that we still possess the monkey mind, and it's clear notifications, small short videos, reels, and we hop from one reel to another. They are exploiting those human weaknesses. I am waging a war against this. That I'll use the same techniques but with a clear purpose.
Hmm.
Okay. Because people are already there on social media, I might as well use it to create curiosity and provoke them to get into reading. And at least, if Anushka watches a 5 minute video of Booklet Guy who is talking about the big idea that he read from 5 a.m. Club, I'm I'm at least borrowing your 5 minutes of time which one could have wasted on something unproductive content.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. But and like you run India's only successful social startup without any external funding. So how has this like happened and how do you monetize and sustain this mission? Is like the biggest question here. Since now I've heard about the stock market and now the enterprise. So it's like like you said, complete turn and I'm really curious about this part.
एक तो my wants are limited. I'm living a
Yeah.
very frugal life.
Okay.
Okay. In stock market days, not a single shirt was below 4,000 rupees. And today, nothing on my body is more than 500 rupees. Okay, point
Wow.
number one. That's so. I mean, if you keep your wants limited, expenses low, it's very easy. See, महीने का 1 लाख रुपया कमाना जितना मुश्किल है ना
Hmm.
उतना ही महीने का 20,000 25,000 कमाना easy है for
Hmm.
people like you and me, of course, educated people like you and me.
Yeah.
And I know how much is enough. I've understood how much is enough.
Hmm.
That's point number one. Second, being a social startup, everything is free. So you must be wondering, how do I cover the cost even?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've written a book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective Readers. So people
Hmm.
wholeheartedly buy it. That helps to cover the cost. A lot of
Right.
people donate. on regular basis, small amounts, because there are lakhs of people, 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees per month, that helps to cover the cost. The biggest cost is IT fees and server rent, the cloud server rent.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think these are the main things. And because I don't want to maximize profits, covering the cost is not a big deal. Of course, like any other business, there are ups and downs, there are seasonalities, but that's part of the game. So, no big deal. So, I focus on coming out with new innovative ideas of reading and how reading can be more exciting and playful and addictive, like the other addictions on the internet.
Right. So, you are also doing some events where you go and give talks and stuff. So, is this also a part of your social mission, or do you like kind of like charge for all of these
No, I never.
events?
There's never a precondition for it. I mean,
Okay,
people wholeheartedly contribute. They don't contribute. That doesn't reduce my enthusiasm by even 1%.
lovely, awesome. So, when one is again starting out to read books, how should I choose the right book to start with? Please help me out, and I hope like whoever's listening to this, and I know a lot of people are in the same boat. So I think this is going to give answers to so many people who are listening, watching this particular podcast. And so please can you give us like a step by step guide as to how do we choose a book, like baby steps?
Okay, I think you're taking reading too seriously. So the first habit of my book says, don't take reading too seriously.
Okay.
Anushka, I have a counter question to you.
Hmm.
I'm going to start my Bollywood movie journey. Please
Hmm.
help me to find out the right movie and where should I watch it, on
Hmm.
Netflix or in the theaters. You would say, क्या बोल रहा है तू? कोई भी देख अच्छा
Yeah.
लगा तो continue करो वरना just change it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
If something is important to you, don't make it special. Make it casual because habits are casual.
Right.
You take any of your daily habit, Anushka,
Hmm.
chatting on WhatsApp, music, gossiping. Do they have a right time? No, right?
Not at all.
Would you suggest me that okay, start with Amir Khan's movie, then you can switch to Shah Rukh Khan and then Hrithik Roshan? No. How do you watch a video on YouTube? You decide the the quality of a video in just first 15 seconds. You have already taken a decision whether I should watch it or just scrap it and move to the next one. Same
Yeah.
goes with the book. No, okay. The old adage goes that don't judge the book by its cover. Yeah, I agree, but judge it after reading 10 pages. Yeah, and then decide whether you should be reading the remaining 190 or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't take it too seriously. I mean, even 1 or 2 pages, and then you come to know whether the book is for you or not. Honestly,
Hmm.
you don't have to
Hmm.
buy books nowadays. No. In the lockdown, I desperately wanted a book called Yuval Noah Harari's *Sapiens*,
Okay.
and I put it on my WhatsApp status that I am looking for this book. Within 48 hours, there are 2 copies in my book in the lockdown. So we have such beautiful tools around us. We don't make use of them for the right reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to spend any money, borrow books. My philosophy is to beg, borrow, and steal.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is the answer to you. No, I'm not going to give you a step-by-step prescription. कि ओके नो ऐसे डॉक्टर कैसे बोलता है कि तुमको सर्दी हुई है लाल गोली लो तुमको क्या है
Yeah.
तुमको सर दर्द हो रहा है पीली गोली लो तो okay Anushka what do you want mindfulness and then take this book you want to become rich then read this Rich Dad Poor Dad you'll become rich no I
Hmm.
stand for reading habit. See, Mission Make India Read doesn't even have the word books.
Yeah.
It's about reading. There is a difference between reading and books. They are not synonymous.
Right.
We all have dumbbells at home, but having dumbbells and lifting those dumbbells are two different things.
Different
My
things. True.
job is to make you read,
Yeah.
right?
I think I'm quite convinced that I have to keep it casual. I think probably there is some kind of seriousness or it's like a technicality to read a book. That's why we tend to take it so
Exactly.
seriously.
Yeah. I mean, there are some unnecessary rules that unless I don't finish the previous book, I should not take the next one.
Yes.
Who says so? Who
Yeah.
says that you have to read till the last page of the book? I have left hundreds of books half read, and I don't
Yeah.
feel guilty about it. But even
Yeah.
if I quit the book, I don't quit reading.
Yeah.
I hate Shashi Tharoor. I don't understand even a word from his book. Fine. That doesn't make me a bad reader. It is also the responsibility of the author to keep you engaged, to keep you excited. It's not all your
True.
fault. Now,
Yeah.
my intention is not to insult the authors, but to remove the guilt from you, from your mind. That there is nothing called good reader or bad reader. There is only
Yeah.
reader or non-reader.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yes, somewhere, you have that kind of guilt that ये नहीं पढ़ पा रही हूँ because probably या मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा, क्यों नहीं समझ आ रहा, ये book खत्म ही नहीं हो रही, how can I move on to the next book? So what you said is precisely right, that definitely happens and it's the truth. And that's why I think वो ऐसे होता है कि एक book खत्म नहीं हुई तो अब वो फिर habit ही छूट जाती है, you can't continue with that habit. But yes, keeping it casual is the mantra. True. So now if I had to if you had to convince a Gen Z or the India's youth as we call who has never picked up a book, what is like a one liner that you would want to give out a message to them? Apart from your mantra, keep it casual.
What's the difference between a person who doesn't read and who can't read? Okay.
Who doesn't read and who can't read.
Yeah. A person who is illiterate or
Yeah.
blind, and that's why he's not reading. And what's the
Yeah.
difference between him and you if you have choose not to read?
Yeah. True.
Right. So I think there are different ways of gaining knowledge or learning from uh, mistakes, but not
Hmm.
all mistakes be your own. You can learn from
Hmm.
other people's mistakes. So people,
Hmm.
my friends argue that okay, I can learn from people around me. I said okay, good, but what is safer to take a productivity tip from a friend who is himself late today by 20 minutes? Or should I take a
Yeah.
productivity tip from Brian Tracy, who has spent more than 1 decade researching on this topic of time management and productivity? Which is safer?
Of
Got it?
course, the second option.
Yeah. So books are written by expert people. So I'll be getting the filtered knowledge.
Hmm.
The weeds will be removed out, and I'll get only the beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
So I think it's a shortest way to gain some filtered knowledge. Very safer way.
But sir, don't you feel that there are? I understand there are people and there are authors who have like researched for years and years together, and then they've come up with a book. But these days, it's again like writing a book has become very casual. Like anybody and everybody is again writing a book. We have film stars writing books. We have content creators writing books. YouTubers writing books. So like again, it's become such a difficult thing for a reader who wants to start out because ऐसे होता है कि ठीक है यू नो प्राजक्ता फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक प्राजक्ता कोहली recently released a book. I don't know the name of the book, but I just saw on one of her posts that she has released a book. And me, as a viewer of Instagram and social media and YouTube, I know her, like, I've been following her. So for me, it'll be like, okay, she's released, let me read this. So apart from reading like quality content or like you said, people who've researched, authors who've researched for a really long time, I might probably pick a book some author like this whom I don't know how much truth is there behind the story or what has been actually put. But just for the sake of buying, I'm going to buy because probably I follow her, I like her content on YouTube. And she's making money out of it at the end of the day. But is it serving my purpose or like, what would you think or what's your take on this whole view?
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is where my role plays a vital part. See, nowadays, more than reading, I spend more time in searching the right books
Okay.
for the community. I spend
Hmm.
a lot of time filtering out. It's not that every book that I read, I will summarize it and it comes in Booklet App. I spend a lot of time because अब तक मैंने कितने 500 600 summaries तो I've already uploaded in on Booklet server. I've read
Okay.
almost you said 1887. You can add five more to it. It's an outdated data.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I think nowadays, and ChatGPT has come, which is a big
Yeah.
तो कोई भी book लिख सकता है. So now I think the role is which books should be ignored. Same goes with the content on internet. Which
Yeah.
books I'm not supposed to read. No. So instead of chasing books, I chase people. Now that I
Hmm.
know that Adam Grant is an amazing author, उसके कलम से जो भी आएगा, I will blindly go to the shop and buy it and read. But because he really goes deep in whichever topic he picks up, or Seth
Okay.
Godin, or Simon Sinek, or Brian Tracy. These are like professional writers. Yeah, I think that's the phrase I was looking for. Go for professional authors, not the part-time authors. Part-time book लिखने का कोई भी लिख सकता है. Now again,
Yeah.
you can go and buy Prajakta's book and read it. Okay, उसमें कुछ गलत नहीं है. It's still
Hmm.
better than watching the unproductive stuff on the internet. Better than entertainment and those Netflix thrillers. Am I
Hmm.
right?
True. Yeah.
But yeah, मैं जितने भी books करूँगा, you can use my the books that I choose as a filter. And many people say that, oh, I'm not interested in your summaries. I just use your booklet app as recommendations. So yeah, perfect. Go for it. So yeah, choosing a book is a big task nowadays. Yeah, and I keep searching for great authors. There are some. In fact, अभी मेरा मुझे लगता है कि मेरा एक दायित्व है. There are such great number of authors which are very good, very bad marketers. That's why उनकी बुक किसको पता भी नहीं है. I
Huh.
think it's my national duty to bring out those books in the limelight.
True. Yeah. So I think yes, I this is what somewhere I think also is a distinguishing factor for people to understand what to read and what not to read. I mean, yes, random reading, like you said, true. But again, random reading also, if something, if I'm giving again my 5 minutes, it should be something that adds value to my life. And that's what, and I think that's 5 minutes is like a stepping stone. कि ये एक 5 minutes अगर मुझे उसने hold कर लिया, so now this 5 minutes can turn into 10 minutes also the next time.
Correct.
So I think that is more important. And if through booklet we are getting that, the viewers and the readers are getting that, I think it's amazing.
Right.
So if like again, everybody these days want to look really like full of wisdom, knowledgeable, people want to have a kind of authority when they talk. So if something like this and everybody wants instant, matlab instant wala knowledge chahiye sabko. So if such is the case with a lot of people, which three books would you recommend them to read?
पहले तो ये इंसिडेंट वगैरह सब निकाल दो. Okay, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. Great things take time to happen. Okay, you can't have a baby in 1 month by making 9 women pregnant. You can't defy nature's laws.
Hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, I have to answer your question. So, Unposted Letter by Mahathirara. He's a spiritual guru from South India. The book is not on spirituality as such, but it's a must read. I highly recommend. He's one of my gurus. Uh, Unposted Letter. Second, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And no wonder why I've been talking about my why. We started our conversation with my why of life, right? So start with why.
Yeah.
I'm living
Yeah.
that book. Third, I would recommend The Second Mountain by David Brooks. So there are two mountains are actually metaphors where
Hmm.
most of us climb the first mountain, which is more of goals, power, money, family, yeah, success, own happiness. And then there is a valley of suffering, loss of loved one, loss of job, or some fatal disease. And very few people then realize through that valley of suffering and try to climb the second mountain, which is of contribution, sense of meaningful contribution. They realize that the journey is inward. I think I'm on this second mountain at a very young age, or most
Yeah.
of the people again go back on the first mountain. So I think this is the third book I would recommend, The Second Mountain by David Brooks.
Right. And so, like, since you were saying about the why of life, again, even the book, the Ikigai, is definitely like we have a lot of books like this who tell you to, I mean, kind of know your why of life, but nobody tells how to know the why of your life. Like, what is the process behind knowing why do you exist? Like, why does one person? So, do you have any answers since you are such an avid reader? You've read so
Hmm.
many books. Can you like decode this for us?
Yeah, so there's a book called Who Will Cry When You Die by Robin Sharma, and
Okay.
he helps to find the answer to this so-called difficult question of what is the purpose of my life, what is the why of my life.
Yeah.
So imagine that it's your funeral and you are dead, okay,
Hmm.
and some people are standing at your funeral. What do you want them to talk about you at your funeral? That will perhaps help you to find a purpose. So I did this exercise when I read that book. I closed the book, I closed my eyes, and imagined that there are some people standing and they're talking. Is it okay if they say that the Amrut was a smart chartered accountant who helped thousands of his clients to convert black money into white?
Hmm.
No, a big no came from my heart. Because I mean, CA is a very dignified profession, but I was doing all those under the table transactions. So I surrendered my CA, to CA, practice of certificate to
Yeah.
not CA
Yeah.
degree, but I stopped
The
my CA
license.
practice on the same day. But is it okay if those people say that this was the guy because of whom today millions of young Indians have started reading? Yeah,
Hmm.
he made India read, and it was his dream that one day India will be known as a nation of readers on the world map. Today it came true. Unfortunately, he is no more. And a big yes came from my heart. This is how I found the purpose. So ultimately, it's once you understand what should happen on your death, you will start
Hmm.
valuing life in a better way.
Right. Wow, I think yeah, I'm going to definitely do this exercise, and I because even I'm not able to figure it out till date. So I hope this exercise helps me as well to get my answers. And I think yeah, whoever's watching, please do try. I hope it works for you as well. But I have like so I'll tell you what is my problem. I've been reading a lot of so I've done law as my graduation. And before that, I used to read a lot of books, which was like I loved crime, thrillers, mysteries, reading all of those books. And post that, after law, it was like law had so much of content, and we had to read so much, be updated with everything. I lost that reading habit because there was already so much in my life to read. And up again now after that, when I want to start reading, I don't feel like because I already have such so many chunks of books in my house and I have no place for the storage. And I think a lot of people face this problem again. Like they wanna buy, they wanna read, but probably like बोलते हैं ना काफी लोग बोलते हैं कि इंटरनेट पे पढ़ने से या ऑनलाइन पढ़ने से बेटर आप book लो the feel of reading a book, a physical book is something different. So do you have the same view for it or what? And like people who have this storage ka problem, what can we do about this? Any solution for that?
No, I do not insist only on this one book in hand style of reading. No, let's
Okay.
embrace technology. Don't you think listening is also part of reading now? As long as you are doing it
Yeah.
with focused listening, not listening to music. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as your imagination is kept intact, that medium
Hmm.
is good enough. Now, the next obvious step that people advised me that tune text summary kiya, audio summary kiya, next should be video summary. I said no, I know not do that because the moment I convert that into a drama, something visual, we surrender our capacity to imagine to the directors. Got it?
Hmm.
Imagination and thinking are not two different things. It's one and the same. Do you know this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagination and thinking is one and the same.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, you will never get a why question while
Hmm.
watching a movie or a cartoon film. No, you will never get questions when you watch something. Have you ever saw kids naturally ask so many questions, but they never ask questions on Chota Bheem or Ninja Hattori because the thinking power is destroyed when we watch a TV. Got it. So anything that keeps your imagination on is part of reading for me. So reading a book, physical book, reading on Kindle, listening to Audible, listening to my audio summaries, reading a PDF on your mobile, etc. It's all part of reading. Watching an interview or our podcast is part of reading because we are not converting it into a drama. Watching Steve Jobs
Right.
interview is as good as reading part of his biography because he's not going to talk the opposite. उसके बायोग्राफीज में से ही कुछ 1-2% आने वाला है उसके इंटरव्यू में.
Hmm. Right. So, like, as a avid reader, and like, since you also are making this mission, there will be a certain image in your mind ki I want to be portrayed like this, or I want to be seen like this. So, what do you think? Like, how does like image or being like presented in a certain way plays an important part in your mission?
No, I've never given a thought about my image at how should I be looked like maybe 5 years down the line or 10 years down. No, for me it's about so what you have said is personality, and I don't care
Yeah.
about personality. What I bother about is my character. Character is
Okay.
what you do when nobody is watching you,
Okay.
and personality is how you behave when the world is watching
Hmm.
you. Right. So right now, what you are seeing is my personality. Once we
Yeah.
are done with this talk, and I'll go to my bedroom, you're not going to check what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That choice will decide my character.
Hmm.
Whether I'll be flirting with a girl on WhatsApp or read 4 pages of Robin Sharma. That
Right.
choice will decide my character. And if I work on my character day in, day out, I don't have to work on my personality separately. A good personality is just a byproduct of great character. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'll just work on my to-do list and
Hmm.
decide what is to be ignored for the day is my biggest enemy, ignorance. Of course, I fall prey to all the attractive distractions around me. I do,
Yeah.
but I try to be less wrong every day. Yeah,
Hmm.
and keep working on my character.
Wow, that's a great message. And like, I have just one last question for you. Like, what are like, since you are all into reading and you know you have so many people out there reading your summaries and everything, do you think readers also have some weird habits?
Well, I can tell about my habits.
Okay,
So,
would love to hear that.
so many times when in a group of discussion, I just disappear. I mean, because
Okay.
see, what happens is avid reader has so many things to connect with. See, knowledge is not collection of information; it is connection of information. And a
Hmm.
person who has read many books, the moment there is some external stimulus, there is a high possibility that I will be able to connect it to some existing piece of knowledge, right? And
Yeah.
that gives a eureka moment, and I just escape from that conversation and get into my cave and start thinking on my next idea. And it
Okay.
happens very often. Don't worry, I'm not going to do it right now.
I was just going to say, thank God we are at the end of the podcast and certain disappear anyway.
So this is a weird habit that my sister has observed is a lot of times, and I
Okay.
do that quite often. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
Nice.
see, reading makes you a perpetual student. It makes you very humble because the moment I take this book, I'm saying that okay, you are my teacher, I'm your student, and when you do it for book after book after book after book, you eventually go into a perpetual student mode. You become more humble, right? I
Yeah.
think the word author, I don't know whether this is, I don't have the evidence to back it up, comes from the word authority, where
Hmm.
when you pick up a book, you give the authority to the author to say that shut up and listen to me. You can't argue while
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah. True. Yeah. It's like you're giving in to what the author is saying.
Yeah.
Also, again, in your into your own imagination.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. I think it was a wow conversation, nothing short of it, for sure. And like from overcoming your failures to creating India's such a successful social startup without any external funding, Sir has shown us that books don't just hold knowledge, they hold power. And there were some big takeaways for me today, and I hope they were for you also. That to become an effective reader, you don't really need to be serious. You need to be casual about it and just go with the flow. You just need the, I don't know, the right moment probably to just pick up anything and just start reading. I mean, uh, again, like it's just gonna be a hook maybe for some time, and for some it may be like a longer thing, but you need to start. You need to take the first step to start. And I think, yes, in this if this conversation has really inspired you, pick up any book, pick up any random page, pick up any random article today and just give it a read. And let's make Sir's mission to make India read get going. And I think, yes, do definitely check out the Booklet app. And I will be sharing Sir's social media handles in the description box below. So please go check it out and start your reading journey right away. And hey, if you enjoyed watching this episode, be sure to subscribe Nuskas with Anushka for more such inspiring conversations and valuable insights from experts in their own fields. And until next time, stay curious, stay receptive. Thank you so much.